All right, today's lesson we are going to be talking about solving one-step and two-step equations. All right, you guys did this in middle school. It should hopefully be review. Here's the big idea. Remember that when we are solving equations, first of all, we have to keep everything balanced, right? Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. And then also that the order matters. Remember, guys, when you're solving equations, you follow PEMDAS, right? Order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, but you do it backwards, right? Because you're undoing everything. You're just trying to solve for the variable. So we can write those in this backwards order, right? Adding or subtracting happens first. Multiplying or dividing happens next. And then finally, you can deal with exponents or parentheses, right? Today, we're just doing two steps. So we're really just dealing with adding or subtracting, multiplying or dividing. Let's go ahead and let's try the first problem here. We have example 1, negative 2x equals 36. Okay, now remember, when we say that we're solving, we're trying to get this variable by itself. We need x by itself, which means we need this negative 2 here to go away. And we make it go away by undoing it. Okay, well right now, the negative 2 is multiplying x. So to get rid of it, I have to divide by negative 2, right? Because this will leave me with 1x, which is just x. All right, now we have to be fair. On the left side, I divided by negative 2, so on the right side, I also have to divide by negative 2. And 36 divided by negative 2 is going to give me negative 18. Okay? Last but not least, y'all, please always take the time to check. Go ahead and come over here. And you're going to type in negative 2, but instead of typing in x, we're going to type in what we got, which was negative 18. Right? When I press enter, I should get 36, right? Because this is equal to 36. So when I press enter, do I get 36? I do. So I checked my answer and we're good. Okay? Go ahead and try example number 2. Well, not example 2. Go ahead and try this problem over here on the right. Your answer choices are an Edpuzzle. Example 2. Here we go. We've got x divided by 4 is equal to 18. All right, again, we want x by itself, so this 4 needs to go away. Well, how do we make it go away? We do the opposite of whatever's happening right now. Okay, well, right now 4 is dividing the x. What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to multiply both sides by 4. Because what's 4x times 4? Again, guys, this creates a 1x, which we don't really need the x for. And this gives me my answer. Now remember, we multiplied the left side by 4, so the right side must also get multiplied by 4. Okay? 18 times 4, let's see over here, 18 times 4 is going to give me 72. So my answer that I'm getting is positive 72. Now to check my work, right, x divided by 4 is supposed to give me 18, so let's make sure, well, what is 72? Divided by 4, right? We're plugging in our x value. Do we get 18? Yes, we do. All right, so we quickly checked our answer. Go ahead and do this problem over here on the right in Edpuzzle. Please, please, please notice and pay attention that you have a negative number this time. All right, check those answers before you click. Example 3. We've got negative 2x plus 13 equals 25. Before we go any further, don't forget, we are doing PEMDAS backwards, remember? So PEMDAS, but when we solve, we go backwards. So we're going this way. All right, so I need to get rid of this 13, and I also need to get rid of this negative 2. It definitely matters which one you do first, okay? You have to follow this order here. So I can get rid of this negative 2 by dividing, right? Because right now negative 2 is multiplying the x. I can get rid of this 13 using subtraction. So which one goes first? Well, this tells me that adding and subtracting is what we go first, right? We're going backwards here. So I'm going to subtract 13 from both sides because what's 13 minus 13? Well, that's 0. So now over here on the left, I've just got negative 2x. Now remember, you have to be fair. I subtracted 13 on the left side, so on the right side, I must also subtract 13. Over here though, 25 minus 13, I'm getting 12. right? So now I have 12 left on the right side. I think many of your middle school teachers had you guys draw lines to separate the sides of the equations. If you want to do that, absolutely go ahead. It's totally fine. All right, finally, I need to get rid of this -2. And right now my -2 is multiplying the x. So to get rid of it, I'm going to divide, right? Because that will create 1x. Again, you don't have to write that 1. And this is going to be equal to, well, I've got to keep it fair. What's 12 divided by -2? It is -6. Right, so my answer is x equals -6. Now don't forget to check those answers. So let's type this in here. -2 times x, which I just found was -6. And we're going to add 13. Right, guys? I'm typing in this left side of the equation with my x value, so when I press enter, if I'm correct, I should get 25. And I do, so I know that I am correct. Go ahead. The problem on the right is yours to try. Your answer choices are in Edpuzzle. Example number 4. All right, example number 4, again, guys, don't forget we have to do PEMDAS backwards, which really means we just have to start by adding or subtracting if possible. So what do we need to get rid of? Well, if I want x by itself, I need -14 to go away, and I need the 1/5 to go away. How do we get rid of these things? Well, I can get rid of the -14 by adding 14. So I have to do that first, right? Adding and subtracting comes first. This is going to give me 0, which is perfect, right? Because now I just have 1/5 x is equal to, don't forget, you got to be fair. You got to add 14 on the right side as well. So -8 plus 14 should give me +6. So I'm left with 1/5x equals 6. All right, well, now I need to get rid of this 1/5 x. Well, right now 1/5 is multiplying the x. Technically, you could also think of this as division, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to divide both sides by 1/5. And we're going to get x equals something. Now, handy trick in your calculator. If you're going to type in 6 divided by, and then you want to type in a fraction, you guys can hit this alpha button right here, and then the y equals button. This menu, ND, means numerator, denominator. That's the one we want. So we're going to press enter. So we're going to do 6 divided by, and now I can type in my fraction of 1/5. And if you remember to do it this way, it'll look like it does on your paper, which just makes all of us feel better. All right, and we are getting +30. So we're getting x is equal to 30. All right, to check our work, again, we're going to type this in here, right? This left side, we're going to use 30 for x. So alpha y equals, don't forget to press enter, we just want that first option. We have 1/5. All right, and now I'm going to type in my x value, which I found to be 30. And now I'm going to type in this -14. And I get, what should I get? I should get -8. Let's see if I do. I do. So I know that 30 is my correct x value. Go ahead and try this problem here on the right. Again, your answer choices are in Edpuzzle. Okay, on the back, we have a little bit different types of problems here. We are presented in information in a way that is a little bit new. So let's kind of focus on that for a second. So in example number 5, we get this equation, right? But we don't really like it because we have x and we have y. We actually have 2 variables here. And you don't know how to solve those just yet. Now what they've done is they've given us some information in kind of a really subtle, sneaky way. They said find the value of y if 6y is a solution to the equation. Guys, all they've done is they've told us that right here, an x value and a y value, they've told us that x is actually 6. Okay, well, before we do anything else, we have to use that, right? Because then if we know what x is, then we only have one variable to find, which is y. So if we've got 3x plus 2y is equal to 12, and then we read this, where the x value is 6, well, we're going to plug that in, and we're going to get an easier equation to deal with. So really, I've got 18 plus 2y is equal to 12. Well, this now looks very similar to the other problems that we've been practicing with, right? We're trying to get rid of the 18 and also the 2, right? We have to get rid of both of those so we can have y by itself. Well, which one do we do first? Well, remember that we do PEMDAS backwards. All right, PEMDAS backwards. So which one can I get rid of first? Not the 2, because the 2 is multiplying the y right now, so I have to save that for last, which means I got to get rid of this 18. So since it's positive, I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides because that gives me a 0 over here. Okay, so minus 18 gives me a negative 6, but I still have 2y is equal to. All right, so to get rid of this 2, we can divide both sides by 2, and I get y is equal to negative 3. Now let's check this answer. Remember that you know that the x value is supposed to be 6. So I'm going to type in this left side here. So 3 times x, which is 6, they gave us that, plus 2. Okay, what's my y value? My y value is negative 3, or that's what I think it is. When I press enter, if I'm correct, I should get 12. And I get 12. All right, awesome. So y is negative 3. Watch out, you guys. If this was in test, you might also have an answer choice that said x is negative 3. That is wrong. Make sure you choose the correct variable. All right? Go ahead and try this problem in Edpuzzle. You've got your equation here, and you're also given half of your answer coordinate points. So don't forget to use that negative 2. And last but not least, we've got example 6. Just very, very, very similar to example 5. Only this time they're not asking us to find y, they're asking us to find x. Okay, they've given us the equation 3x minus 5y is equal to 10, but they've really super sneakily told us that x is whatever x is and y is 4, right? That the y is 4, so we have to use that. Before we do anything else, we have to use that. So 3x minus 5y equals 10. Only they told us part of the solution was when y is 4. All right, so let's clean that up. We've got 3x minus 20 is equal to 10. Okay, well now this looks like what we've been practicing earlier where we just go ahead and solve. We got to get rid of the 3 and the negative 20. Remember to add or subtract whatever you can first. So I'm going to get rid of this 20. I'm going to add 20 to both sides because that will give me 0 over here. All right, so this will give me 3x is equal to 30. And now I can see that to finish this, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So I get x is equal to 10. And don't forget to check your work. We're going to go ahead and we're going to type in this left side here. 3 times x. Well, I think x is 10, so I'm going to use 10 for x. All right, minus 5y. And they told me that the y value is 4, so you're going to use 4 for y. When I press enter, I should get 10. Do I? I do. So I know that I am correct. Go ahead and try that last problem over there in Edpuzzle. And don't forget that when you're done, you do have an assignment in Edulastic.